Welcome to There's a Method to the Madness. My name is Rob Maxwell, and I'm an exercise physiologist and personal trainer. I'm the owner of Maxwell's Fitness Programs, and I've been in business since 1994. We have a very fun podcast today. I am going to interview elite distance runner Angelika Grubel, who lives in Ormond Beach, Florida. And before I get to that, I want to thank our sponsors, Jonathan and Lyn Gildon at the Gildon Group at Realty Pros. They currently have over 275 star reviews on Zillow. And you know what's most impressive about both of them? They actually got into the real estate industry by choice. They're educated. Jonathan has a bachelor's degree in finance and real estate, and Lyn has her MBA. So they've wanted to go into business their whole lives, or at least their whole adult lives. And I really respect people who get degrees in the field they're in. As you all know, I've said that about my industry over and over and over. So I will put their contact information in the show notes, and let's get on with our very fun, different podcast. I'm going to have more guests on this year. That's one of my goals. So we're going to start with elite distance runner Angelika Grubel from Ormond Beach. And I'll let her introduce herself a little bit. Hello, Angelika.
Hey guys, my name is Angelika, and I have been running for about 12 years now. The way I got into running is because after 3 kids, I was overweight, needed to lose weight, and running became my choice of cardio. And after a few months of doing that, I found the love of running. So it became actually something I do now for enjoyment, fun, and competition instead of weight control. So I've been participating first in 5Ks, later on 10Ks, did my first half, and eventually ventured out and tackled my first marathon maybe 7-8 years ago. And figured out that it's really beneficial, especially if you start later in life with running, 40s, 50s, to have somebody on your side that guides you and helps you not get hurt. And if you're hurt, helps you to recover. So I actually hired Rob to help me with my goals of getting faster, not getting injured, getting stronger, the whole package.
All right, so I notice a southern accent there. Is that correct? Are you from Mississippi? It's a little bit of a southern dialect, I think.
Not quite Mississippi, more over the oceans, from Germany.
Germany. Oh, okay. I just noticed a little different accent there. You know, obviously, as Angelika pointed out, I do coach her, but for those who do not know her, yes, she is German. Probably makes her so tough-minded in many ways, able to push through things. I think that's part of the culture, but that might just be a generalization as well. All right, so getting back to your early days of running, so a lot of people get into running for cardio and weight loss, and I do believe, based on what I know of your story, is you had gotten overweight at one point in your life. Is that correct? And can you kind of talk a little about that?
Absolutely. After having 3 babies and no time and just being mom at home, I gained quite some weight, probably like 30 pounds over a few years. And when I was 39 and just about to turn 40, I saw a picture of myself and I said, I just don't want to turn 40 looking like that. So that's how my whole weight loss journey and running journey began, right around my 40th birthday.
And I believe, if my memory serves me correct, I saw you I don't believe I knew you well yet, but I think we've been introduced. But I think I saw you at your first 5K. Is that correct?
Yes. The very, very first 5K that a friend of mine talked me into, I didn't even know what it was all about. She just wanted to run it, and she dragged me out there, and it was the Lady of Lords 5K. And I ran the 5K, and you, I think, gave out the awards that day.
Did you win one?
I won my age group, I believe, or I placed. I'm not sure.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting because when you think about it, you're saying you did your very first 5K. You had a friend drag you out there. You probably weren't in your peak shape yet, but you were getting closer. Yet you still placed or won your age group, which tells me you then must have some talent for running. I mean, the time had to be pretty decent. Do you recollect what your first 5K time was?
I want to say, I don't know the exact time, but it was somewhere around 24, 25 minutes, somewhere in that range.
And you were how old?
39, 40.
So that's not a bad 5K. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that actually make it like a lifetime goal to get under 25 minutes. And you jumped in and did one under 25 minutes or so, or somewhere in there. So I guess what I'm alluding to is, do you think there is a genetic component to some of your running? Because as this interview progresses, I'm going to get into some of your times, and they're pretty darn fast. So do you think there's some genetics there or what?
Yeah, I absolutely think there's something there that, because I know a lot of people that struggle to get under 30 minutes, and they are in good shape, but they're having a hard time. And that was just never hard for me. I didn't know what I was doing. I just ran the 5K, and that ended up being the time. So I'm convinced there is definitely a genetic factor to it that makes it a little easier for me.
Okay, and for those that can see us here on video, which there isn't one, so I'm making another joke that's probably not overly funny, but so you are what? You're 5'1", 105 pounds for the viewers out there?
So absolutely not. I'm 5'6.5" probably at this point, and probably around 140 pounds, plus minus 5.
So when you ran your first 5K, what would you guess your body weight was then at the Our Lady of Lourdes 5K?
Probably around 145, 148, somewhere there. So
you weren't small?
No.
All right. So that's even more impressive. And obviously that's why I'm making that point. There's a lot of people in the running world, which I've been a part of, and I've done triathlons and all this stuff. And when people run those pretty fast times, their first 5K of like 24 minutes, they're usually like itty bitties. If they're men, they're 5'8" and 140 pounds. If they're women, they're 5 foot barely and maybe 105 pounds, right?
Yep.
But that's not you.
Not, absolutely not. I'm exactly the opposite.
So that's even more impressive. I mean, to me, that's always been one of your most impressive traits is the fact that you do not look like a runner. And people who listen to this podcast know that, in my opinion, that's a good thing. I don't necessarily think that super skinny look is very healthy. And you don't look like a runner, but you go out there and you kick a lot of runners' butts. Do you get satisfaction in that?
To be honest, yeah, once in a while, because if you start on the start line in a race and you get sometimes the looks of the really skinny people, like, what are you doing here in the front? And then you beat them, that's kind of like fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's been a long time since I've experienced that myself, but I have won a race or so there, but it's been a long time, so I guess you're going to have to take it home for the people with some muscle. Okay, so then moving a little bit forward on that, and I wanted the audience to absolutely understand the value in an overall health and fitness routine, the skinny mini look that some people go to, some people are genetically there, some people strive to get there, isn't really healthy in my opinion. And we want women especially to admire their own bodies a little bit more and not be so preoccupied with everybody else. So I think you demonstrate that, really, really well with that. It's not easy to run a 24-minute 5K. And by the way, that was a long time ago. So let me stop there and say, what is your PR in the 5K, which stands for personal record?
PR is 1944.
1944. Isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen? What happened in 1944? I don't know. I just, for some reason, knew her answer, but for some reason that just struck me kind of funny. So 1944. So I still beat you because mine was 1937.
Yes.
But I'm a guy, and I guess I'm supposed to go a little faster, but I know if we race today, you'd beat me by an hour in a 5K. So we don't need to worry about that. So you've been under 20 minutes, over the age of 45, over 140 pounds. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I was 49 when I ran that time.
So, wow, that's pretty impressive. So you don't have to be 105 pounds to break 20 minutes?
Nope, not at all.
At least you haven't.
Nope.
That's pretty, so okay, so we talk genetics. We know that. I know that. You know that. I hope the listener knows that. In any sport, in any lifestyle, there's a genetic component. So what else? What else? What do you think leads to some of that 5K speed? And I'm really not looking for props. We don't need to get into, your workouts push me and all that. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. What else? That's fast. So what do you do to go that kind of speed? And pretty consistently, last weekend, tell the audience what you ran a 5K in.
Last Sunday, whatever it was a 20:55.
So you were under 21.
Yeah.
So basically within a minute of your PR.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn good. And so, all right. So what do you attribute some of that to? Because there are people we see at all these races, they don't get faster.
I think there's a couple things that I would attribute that to. One, of course, is structured training, speed runs, intervals, all that stuff.
Let me interrupt you there because I'm curious to hear this, and I bet you the audience is too. Out of those structured runs, what ones for 5K? Mm-hmm. What one do you think is most beneficial to going faster in a 5K?
Oh, for me, clearly intervals. Intervals is where it's at. We go into longer distance races, that's different, but running intervals, 400s, 800s, 10 times, 12 times with little rest, that's what made me faster. There is no question if it comes to 5Ks.
Okay, so to summarize for everybody listening, so shorter intervals with less recovery.
Yes.
Okay, and that leads to greater 5K speed.
Yes.
So those are easy workouts.
Oh, they are not easy at all. They are probably my least favorites because they hurt the most.
Get the most bang for your buck.
Yes.
You feel. Okay. So what's your next goal then? So you've been you hammered the 5K last weekend. I'm guessing that wasn't your big goal of the year. So what's your next goal?
Next goal for this year will be London Marathon, April 23rd. That will be number 5 out of the 6 major world marathons.
Can you tell the audience what that is?
So there is 6 major Abbott marathons in the world. 3 of them are here in the US, which would be Boston, New York, Chicago. Then we have 3 international ones, which is Berlin, London, and Tokyo. So London will be my number 5, and then Tokyo will be my last one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And are you going to try to do Tokyo then the following year? Is that the goal?
That's the goal. It's a little difficult to get in. It's all about lottery. So we'll see how I can figure that out.
Out of these marathons you've done thus far that you named, including London, which ones have time qualifications?
4 of them. So Chicago, Boston, New York, and Berlin have time qualifications.
I thought New York wasn't time, no?
You can qualify for overtime, but most people get in over lottery.
Okay, so what time did you have to hit to get into New York?
New York was not as bad. That was, I think, 340. They were at 340 or 345. And this is for my age group. This is different. Every 5 years, these times change. So it's not, across the board. The only qualification time across the board is Berlin. They don't take age
What's
into account.
What's that qualification time?
320.
Wow. So any age has to hit a 320?
Yes.
So you Germans are tough. A 320.
Yeah, 320.
Any age.
Any age.
Did you hit a 320?
I hit a 324, so if they don't have enough 320s, they go up, so I got in.
So 320, though, is the benchmark.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn fast.
Yep.
So is that the smallest of them then, based on that they have the narrowest time frame?
No.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I may sound like I'm putting this on, but I truly am surprised. I did not know that. She had never told me that before, that there was a minimum of 320 for Berlin. That's pretty fast. And for those that don't run marathons, Tank, and I'm going to get into Tank in a second, but Tank, what pace is that per mile?
320, we're looking at a 740, 735, 740.
So most people, that's faster than your first 5K.
Yes.
But now you held that for a marathon.
For 26 miles, yes.
What is your PR again?
324.
And where did that occur?
In Chicago.
Chicago, but that's one of the big 6.
That's one of the big 6, yes.
That's pretty darn impressive. So do you have a time goal going into London, or are you just going to go there and like basically observe all the fish and chips on the roadway?
No fish and chips here for me. No, I definitely have a time goal. I would love to get like the 3:30, under 3:30 again. With the international marathons, it's a little tricky because you do have the travel, you have the time differences. You only have a couple days to get back into your regular rhythm before you arrive. So it's a little trickier, but we'll see.
So what are you going to do to get there? I mean, so 3:30 is still fast. I mean, so I've run, oh gosh, I don't even know now, 5 marathons or something like that. I've never come close to that. I think my best is a 3:50 or something. So 3:30 is fast, and that, you know, that's not going to be your fastest, but that's still fast. And my bet is you can probably get closer to your PR. But so what are you going to do? I mean, that's a few months away. How are you going to hit that?
How are we going to hit that? We're going to hit that with a lot of training, with a lot of mental strength and wanting it. Training is a lot of long runs, is doing the right runs, not getting hurt is key. Building up mileage slow, having some speed work in there, but also having this long, slow distance runs in there to just get your body used to it. Have a good music, and just really enjoy the run and do your best.
So interesting you said. So is music allowed in the international marathons?
Yes, you
Okay.
can have it.
Okay. Because interestingly, I heard a podcast of a show I listened to this morning, and they interviewed a elite female runner, and one of her gripes is the fact that so music has been shown to be performance enhancing, right? I
Yes.
mean, they've shown that if you have Spotify, which you better, because the best podcast in the world, this one, is on Spotify, so you better have Spotify, but you can literally pull up playlists for a pace that you want to run. So the research is out there. Now, not for everybody, I get it, but the research has shown that music actually is performance enhancing. So what are your thoughts on some of these races not allowing it? Like, and that was the elite runner's beef. She was like, she is like, we're talking one of the best in the whole world. I think she has the mile time record, but no, 5K. I don't remember what it is, so I'm not going to state it, but it was fast. And she's literally going up against race directors stating, why this silly rule? So what are your thoughts on that? Because there are some races that will disqualify you if you're wearing music, if you're wearing headphones.
So for a lot of the elite runners, that's their job, they're running for money, that's like they're winning these big marathons, they are not allowed to have
But why?
music.
I guess my point is that research has shown that even they can potentially go faster, but they're not allowed.
It's almost like doping. They don't allow it. It's almost like a performance-enhancing drug, so they don't allow it. The other reason they say it, well, I don't know, in a marathon, how if you're up there, it's for security, not security, but for like, you don't hear the traffic, you don't hear things around you, you get distracted, you don't know what's going on around you, so it's a little dangerous, more on bikes than running, but they discourage it. A lot of races will allow you to have like only one ear. Only one plug in one ear so you have to hear something. But mostly I think it's because it's performance enhancing and they just want pure running. They don't want it. And it's hard to run 2-3 hours without anything.
That's what her
it's in your mind.
So do you buy that whole, danger thing? Because, I mean, come on, you know me, you've trained with me, and I can, I got my headphones on almost like max volume. Do I not hear cars? I mean, it just doesn't really add up that these things are, especially running. You're right about cycling for sure. But running, I mean, really, if somebody's got headphones on, even at the highest level, they're not going to hear a car. Do you believe that?
No, I think that part is real nonsense. Just because you go to these really big races, those are closed courses. There is like volunteers everywhere. There is spectators everywhere. You're not running on the street with cars in Chicago or New York or Berlin. It's a closed course. There's no reason for you to hear anything if you don't want to. But that's race directors. That's what they state. So that's what we have to adhere to.
Yeah, and what she said, and we'll wrap this part up about this little bit of politics going on in the running world. But I did find it interesting. What she said was it actually comes down to the old classic "get off my lawn" people that. some of the old curmudgeons who like always use arguments like, well, we didn't have that when we ran Boston back in 1970. And so it kind of comes down to just that old mindset of we didn't have it, so you shouldn't, which is really an outdated way of thinking. But anyway, so do you listen to music?
I always, on marathon day, yes, I'll take it with me. I will usually listen maybe an hour, and then it gets distracting or it bothers my ears and I shut it off and put it away. But I like to have it on me just in case I need it and just need to get out of my own head for a little bit.
Okay, so 2 more questions on that. All right, the world of Angelika Grubel.
Oh, gee.
All right, so what are, for your, we're going to try to gain you some fans out there, right? We're going to try to get some people following Angelika here on social media, one of our, and I'm serious, she's one of our Volusia County's best runners. She really is. She wins a lot of races. She's done very, very well. So what are 3 songs on Angelika's marathon playlist? So what do you like to listen to?
So my playlist probably nobody ever would listen to because I have a certain rhythm in mind. I have about 5 English songs on, and every 5 English songs will be interrupted by a German song. And the only reason for that is because I'm looking forward to it and it makes me smile.
What does the German song?
The German song, every time it comes on, I usually, like in my mind, I sing with it in German and it just breaks it up and just makes it, and it can be something silly like, Nena, 99 Luftballons. It doesn't matter. It's
That's
just
German?
something, yeah. So it's just something out of the 80s that I remember, and it just breaks up the race looking forward to that song. That's
okay,
all.
so believe it or not, on my podcast, I noticed there are some European countries that tune in. That's pretty cool. So, but most people are English. So what are 3 English songs on your playlist? Notice she danced through that question.
Yes, because I don't even know what's... So one I always start out with, which is, I know, totally cliche, but it will be the Rocky song. Just because that's my starting song. Somewhere on my playlist will be Footloose. Reason being, it's the right rhythm and gets me into the right cadence to run a 750. That's just the perfect song for running a 750-minute mile. And then somewhere in that playlist, I will have We Are the Champions, and that should be somewhere at the end.
Well, that's good. Those are all good songs. I think they motivate everybody. At least they all sound pretty up from what I know of them. So it's not true that Germans just listen to David Hasselhoff?
No, I don't think I don't think I've ever listened to David Hasselhoff.
But there is that reputation that for some reason Germans love his music, and I never knew he did anything other than Baywatch, but...
I think Baywatch and Knight Rider, that was a big thing in Germany.
So shows, not music.
Yes.
All right, final question. Now this is a toughie. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so I mentioned Tank a couple times. Okay? I sometimes get credit for nicknaming you Tank, but that's not true, is it?
No, it's not.
Tell the audience why Tank came about. Because if anybody goes to races, they know near the end they might hear some coach yelling, and that coach would be me. Come on, Tank, pick it up, Tank, finish, Tank. They're like, Tank? So what does that mean? Explain to them where Tank came from.
Tank came from 15 years ago when I started working out. I had a coach back then that nicknamed me German Tank. And basically it was because I was lifting pretty heavy. And so it came, he was from Canada, I was from Germany. So, Danny made me German Tank. And then I think when I later on worked out with you, you just dropped the German and Tank became it. And the funny part, I think, is that a lot of people, when you go to races, they don't know my first name. They just know me as Tank.
Or they call you Angelika when they do your awards.
Yes,
for some reason.
Grubel.
Angelika Grubel. So why don't you just write Tank on the entries?
Here we go. That's what I should do next time, next race.
That's a lot easier to do, right?
Yeah.
So do you like the name Tank or do you not like,
It has grown on me. It's been like so many years now that I don't even hear anything else anymore. It's like it's just become my name.
Have you ever considered getting like a jersey and have Tank put on the back? That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool, but no, I've never. No.
So what about for the marathon coming up in London?
Oh, marathon coming up now. So every marathon, I'll wear the sponsor shirt, whatever they want me to wear. But during the marathon, there's only one t-shirt I'll ever wear, and that's my lucky yellow shirt and nothing else.
So, I mean, I don't mind. Do you have a sponsor that you can give a little plug to here? Is somebody sponsoring you?
Absolutely. So I have a few sponsors right now for London. One will be Ali Karga from ICI Homes.
Okay.
And then Shanfro and Shanfro.
Okay.
It's another
That's a
one.
champagne company?
I think we all know that's an attorney's office.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm still working on a couple more. I have a couple more sponsors that rather me not have use their name. They're anonymous. But still working on a couple more to make that happen because those trips are expensive.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, not everybody can get sponsorship. So rumor has it you get your trip paid for. Is that true?
I hope so. Yep.
Wow.
It looks like it.
That's pretty cool. So do you have to do anything for that? Do you have to run a 3-hour marathon?
No, they never require a time. They just represent maybe wear the hat, the flag, have some pictures on social media, stuff like that.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Do you have any last second encouraging words for your running audience out there?
I think the only thing I would like to say that like if you start running, don't give up just because the first mile is hard. The first 2, 3, 4 miles are hard for everybody. Start with a walk, jog, run. Don't go out there, try to kill it right away. Start slow, enjoy it, and take breaks if you need to. You're not no runner just because you run slow or you walk in between. Now, you're better than everybody that's sitting on the couch. So just get out there, enjoy the weather, enjoy the fresh air. And, if you run, walk, jog, who cares? You're out there.
It's supposed to be hard, right?
Yeah.
In other words, people think sometimes like if you win a race, they're like, well, it's easy for you.
No,
it's harder, isn't it?
It's very hard. It's very hard.
And the better you get, the higher the expectations.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that's good advice that it's going to be hard. Just do it. Fight through any probably more mental discomfort than anything, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, this is a perfect time, and I'm going to let you actually help with this one because you are an avid client of this individual. To thank our second sponsor, chiropractic physician, Dr. Doris Antos of Ormond Beach. I'm going to put her information in the show notes, but Angelika actually goes to her on a regular basis. So tell the audience what you love about her.
Oh, so Doris, if you need a chiropractor, she is a girl to go to. She takes her time. She doesn't just is in and out. She doesn't want to sell you packages. She really cares and she works on what you need. I love how she has always the time to listen and then adjust me and make sure I'm okay. I come back if I need to. If I don't, I don't. They have massage therapists and many other modalities that they offer. So go see Doris if you have any issues and need a chiropractor for sure.
How often do you go in marathon training? Like, do you try to go regularly or what?
Yeah, I wish I could, but usually it's when there is an issue. That's when I go.
Okay, but you go to her.
Yes, only her.
Yep. She has a great reputation. I definitely second that. All right. So until next time, be Max Fit and be Max Well.